Hello. In this video, we're going to use an appropriate identity to simplify each expression. The first one we have is cosine 49 degrees, cosine 4 degrees, plus sine 49 degrees, sine 4 degrees. Okay, so remember, we've got the cosine of the sum or difference. And there are two different formulas, but I'm going to write it down in one different formula. So it gives me cosine of alpha and then plus or minus beta is equal to the cosine alpha, cosine beta, minus plus sine alpha, sine beta. Now you're used to seeing the plus or minus. You're probably not used to seeing minus plus. The reason that we do it this way is because if you want the sum of a cosine, or cosine of a sum, so we have cosine of alpha plus beta, which is the top one, is equal to cosine alpha, cosine beta, and then we use again the top one minus sine alpha, sine beta. And if we want the minus, we use plus. So whichever one you're using, if it's the plus, it's on top, so use the one on top here, which is minus. And if it's minus, which is on bottom, use the one on bottom here, which is plus. Okay, so we want to look at the first one, cosine 49, cosine 4, sine 49, sine 4, and they're all in degrees. Notice that there's a plus here, and if we go over here, the one that we have here is plus, which means we need to use the difference between the two. And we have to keep the order in which you see it here, so 49 and 4. So this is going to give me the cosine of 49 degrees minus 4 degrees. And 49 minus 4 is 45, so this gives me cosine of 45 degrees, which of course just simplifies to root 2 over 2. And that really is it for that one. Now for the next one, we have cosine 2, cosine negative 3, minus sine negative 2, sine 3. Well, first of all, notice that there are no degrees. These are all in radians. Second of all, because we have negatives and positives for the arguments, we need to go ahead and get them all as negatives or positives. So to do that, let's go ahead and get rid of any negatives inside these arguments, which means I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. And I will rewrite this as the following. We have cosine 2, and then for the next one, cosine is an even function, which means a negative on the inside can just go away, which makes that cosine 3. And the reason we can do that is that f of negative x is equal to f of x for even. For odd, f of negative x equals negative f of x. And that's what sine is, and sine is odd. So this negative on the inside needs to go on the outside, making that minus a negative, which is, of course, positive. And then sine 2, sine 3. Good. So now they're all positive for the argument, which means that they're all the same argument. Or not the same argument, but alphas and betas. And we have a plus here. So again, we have the cosine of a difference. Now it may have looked like a cosine of a sum first, but this time it's the cosine of a difference. And this is going to give us the cosine of, and let's do the order that we see this in, 2 minus 3. And then just simplify, which gives me cosine of negative 1. But remember, a negative on the inside can go away for cosine, which gives me cosine of 1. And that's it. It's the cosine of 1 radian. We don't know what the cosine of 1 radian is, so we're just going to leave it as cosine of 1. You can round it if your question is asking us for, but we weren't asked for that here. Alrighty. Well, I believe that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I will see you in the next one. Have fun.